All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we are taking a deep dive into a career that's shaping the future: alternative fuels engineering.
It's a really hot topic right now.
We've got career guides, interview tips, even insights from RoleCatcher AI, all prepped to help you totally nail those interview questions.
Yeah, not just answer them, but really stand out.
By the end of this, you'll be walking into that interview like you own the place.
With the confidence of, like, a rocket scientist.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
What I find so cool about this field is it's not just swapping gas for something greener, it's like a whole system change.
Oh, totally.
Power generation, transportation, how industries work, everything.
It's a chance to make a real difference.
Huge impact, yeah.
So let's break it down. What does an alternative fuels engineer actually do?
You're basically designing the systems that replace fossil fuels with the good stuff.
The renewable alternatives, right?
Exactly. We're talking LNG, biodiesel, even hydrogen.
And that's just the start.
Oh, just scratching the surface. You could be working on anything from algae biofuel to super advanced hydrogen fuel cells. The skills you need are pretty surprising, though. The career guide mentions reading comprehension.
Wait, like back to high school English class?
I know.
But it makes sense.
Yeah. It's not Shakespeare analysis.
It's more like you've got to devour research papers, technical reports, keep up with all the latest breakthroughs.
Absolutely. The field moves so fast.
And then there's systems analysis.
That one's essential. It's not just a buzzword. It's about seeing how the whole energy system connects. Production, distribution, what people use, environmental impact, the whole thing.
So you can't just focus on one tiny part.
Got to see the big picture.
Speaking of big picture, let's jump into some interview questions.
This is where it gets real.
We'll spend a good chunk of time here, so get ready. First one, what inspired you to pursue a career in alternative fuels engineering? Sounds simple, but how do we make it memorable?
Think of it as your, like, origin story, but for saving the planet. What sparked that passion for you?
Good point.
Was it an event, a book, a mentor?
Maybe a growing concern about, the state of the planet.
Exactly.
Be authentic and connected to what the company's all about.
Show them you're not just looking for any engineering job. You want their mission.
So if they're big on, say, algae biofuels, I should mention that documentary I saw about how algae can save the world.
Perfect example.
Show them you get it.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let your personality come through, too.
Gotcha. Enthusiasm is key.
Definitely.
Okay. Next one gets to the heart of it. How do you ensure that alternative fuels are sustainable and environmentally friendly?
This one's more complex.
It is, and that's what they're testing for.
To see if we get the nuances.
Totally. No easy answers here, no greenwashing. You got to you understand life cycle analysis.
Oh, right. The whole picture.
Where do the materials come from? How much energy goes into making the fuel? What about the waste?
It's a lot to think about.
It is. So how do you showcase all that knowledge without getting too technical? All right, we don't want to overwhelm them.
Clear communication is key. You could say something like, I believe in a holistic approach to sustainability, evaluating the entire life cycle of the fuel to make sure it's minimal environmental impact from start to finish.
Okay, that's a good way to put it. Now, this next question sounds like it needs a good story. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot an issue with an alternative fuel solution?
Oh, they want to see those problem-solving skills. Have a story ready.
From a project or something?
Yeah, project, lab, experiment, even something you fixed in your garage.
Ooh, I like that.
Walk them through the problem, how you thought it through, the steps, and the solution.
Like an engineering detective. What if the fix wasn't perfect, though?
Still share it.
Really?
Highlight what you learned.
So even if it didn't go as planned, it shows we can adapt.
Exactly. Resilient, constantly improving.
Love it. Okay, this one requires some serious big picture thinking. How do you balance the trade-offs between different alternative fuel solutions?
This is where you show you can think strategically.
Weigh all the factors.
Cost, performance, environmental impact, the whole shebang.
And there's no one right answer.
Nope. Depends on what you're using it for.
So if I'm interviewing with a company that's all about electric vehicles, I shouldn't just sing the praises of batteries and ignore everything else.
Definitely not. Acknowledge the strengths, but talk about the challenges too.
Like battery range?
Yeah, charging infrastructure, then compare that with other options.
Hydrogen fuel cells, biofuels.
Right. Explain why one might be better in certain situations.
It's like a strategic game.
Totally. You've got to consider all the moves.
As we're talking about these different fuels, I'm thinking about career progression too. The guide mentions entry-level might assist with design and testing, while senior engineers lead projects.
Absolutely. Tailor your answers to the level you're going for.
So, recent grad,
Highlight that you're eager to learn and be part of the team.
experienced pro.
Show off those leadership skills and complex project experience.
Great tip. And the guide also mentions uh, going beyond traditional management roles. I'm intrigued by research and development and consulting.
Those paths are super rewarding.
You could be working on cutting-edge stuff.
Yeah, leading research, advising companies on this energy transition, the sky's the limit.
I love that this field's always changing.
Always something new.
And speaking of new, let's not forget RoleCatcher AI.
Oh yeah, it's more than just a resume builder.
It's like having a career coach in your pocket.
What's amazing is how it personalizes your prep.
Yeah.
It starts with your CV,
Okay.
uses AI to analyze the job description you're going for, and suggests keywords to make you stand out.
So it helps you get past those applicant tracking systems.
Exactly.
And then there's the practice questions. It actually
Yeah.
gives feedback on your answers.
It's like having someone evaluate your tone, your wording, even your body language if you're doing a video practice.
Insane.
Helps you find those little things you might not even notice to improve.
Wow, RoleCatcher's amazing.
It is. With that kind of prep, you'll walk into that interview ready to shine.
So we've covered the basics of alternative fuels engineering, sustainability, problem solving, even career paths, and AI tools.
But we're just getting started. Next time, we'll tackle even tougher interview questions, go deeper into the tech, and explore how to really leverage your experience to land that dream job.
So stay tuned, everyone. The journey to a cleaner future is just beginning. Welcome back, everyone. We're diving even deeper into how to ace those alternative fuels engineering interviews.
We talked about sustainability, troubleshooting, life cycle analysis. Now let's get to some more brain-bending questions.
Okay, hit me with them. I'm ready for the challenge.
All right, picture this. You're in the interview, and they ask, how do you ensure that alternative fuels are cost-effective and efficient? It goes beyond just the technical stuff.
Right, it's about the money, too. Companies want to know it makes financial sense.
Exactly. This is where your analytical skills come in.
Okay.
You've got to show you understand what affects cost and efficiency.
So like production costs.
Yes. How do different fuels compare when it comes to raw materials, processing, infrastructure?
For example, could I talk about the cost of making biodiesel from crops versus producing hydrogen?
Perfect example.
What about efficiency, though?
Another key factor. How much energy do you get out versus what you put in? What about losses during production, transportation, storage?
And we can't forget about government incentives.
Oh, absolutely. Those can really make alternative fuels more competitive.
So we need to show we understand the bigger picture.
Not just the science, but the economics and policies, too.
Got it. Now, what about safety? That seems crucial with alternative fuels.
Definitely a top priority. They'll want to know you take it seriously. So let's say they ask, how do you ensure that alternative fuels meet all the regulations and safety standards?
This is about showing we know the rules and we're responsible, right?
Exactly. Mention specific bodies and standards.
Like in the U.S., the EPA and their emissions regulations.
Perfect. Don't forget about safety protocols, too.
Oh, right, like proper ventilation.
Yeah, protective gear, emergency plans, training for anyone handling the fuels.
It really emphasizes how important it is to be prepared and knowledgeable.
It does. And resources like that career guide and RoleCatcher AI can really help you with that.
Speaking of RoleCatcher AI, I'm curious about how it helps tailor answers to specific jobs.
That's where its AI analysis shines. It can actually break down the job description
Wow.
and figure out what skills and experience they're really looking for. Then it gives feedback on your answers.
So it's like a personalized coach for each interview.
Pretty much. Helps you stand out from everyone else.
All right, we've covered cost, efficiency, safety.
Yeah.
What other tricky questions should we expect?
Let's talk about project experience. Interviewers love real-world examples.
Yeah, to see how we've actually applied our skills.
So be ready for something like, describe a project where you developed and implemented an alternative fuel solution.
I like this one. We can show off what we've actually done.
Exactly. Pick a project that highlights your skills and matches the job you want.
And walk them through the goals, the challenges, the solutions.
Yeah, and the results. Just don't forget those.
Oh, and teamwork. Most engineering projects are collaborative.
Definitely. Mention how you communicated, delegated tasks, even resolved conflicts.
It's all about showing you're a team player.
Absolutely. Someone who can get things done.
Before we go on, I want to touch on career progression again. The guide mentioned specializing in a fuel type, going into management, or even consulting.
It's good to think about your long-term goals.
Yeah, where do I see myself in 5, 10 years?
And you can even bring up those aspirations in the interview.
Show them I'm ambitious.
Exactly. So if you're interested in R&D, you could mention wanting to contribute to their innovation efforts.
Shows them I'm thinking ahead.
It does. Okay, ready for a tougher technical question?
Hit me.
How about describe your experience with designing and optimizing alternative fuel production processes?
This is where we really get into the specifics, right?
Yeah, show off your knowledge of the tech. Think about the different types of fuels and how they're made.
Like, could I talk about transesterification for biodiesel, electrolysis for hydrogen, or extracting bioethanol from biomass?
Those are great examples. And don't just list them, explain how they work.
Show I understand the inputs, outputs, the whole process.
Exactly. What about optimization, though?
Ah, right. That was a key part of the question.
Talk about how you'd make those processes more efficient, cost-effective, environmentally friendly.
Did I use any software? Did I run experiments?
Exactly. Show them you're not just following a recipe, you're constantly improving things.
It all connects back to that life cycle analysis and sustainability we talked about.
All comes full circle.
I'm feeling more confident with every question we cover.
That's what we like to hear. Okay, this next one tests your attention to detail.
Uh-oh, bring it on.
How do you ensure that alternative fuels meet performance and quality standards?
It's not as simple as just saying, I make sure it works, right?
You got it.
Mm.
You need to show, the specific standards and testing protocols.
Like ASTM International Standards for biodiesel.
Yes. Or SAE International Standards for hydrogen fuel.
And talk about quality control measures during production.
Regular testing, documentation, traceability of materials, the whole 9 yards.
Showing them we have a system in place.
A rigorous approach, yeah. And always research the company's specific standards.
So I can tailor my answers to their products and processes.
Exactly. Shows you've done your homework.
Okay, I like these problem-solving questions.
Me too, they're fun. They let you tell a story.
And show off some creativity.
So think about a time you had to troubleshoot an issue with an alternative fuel solution.
All right, I'm racking my brain.
It could be from a project, a lab, even your own car, anything.
The more specific, the better. Right.
Totally. Paint a picture for them.
Walk them through the problem, how I diagnosed it, the steps I took, the results.
Did you analyze data, do experiments, consult experts, get creative?
And even if it wasn't a perfect fix, I can talk about what I learned.
Definitely. Shows you can adapt and grow.
Okay, I think I've got a good story in mind. Now, hit me with a big picture question.
All right, let's test your strategic thinking. How do you balance the trade-offs between different alternative fuel solutions?
This is about understanding the pros and cons of each fuel type, right?
Exactly. Making decisions based on the situation.
You might compare energy density, environmental impact, cost, infrastructure.
Don't forget about social acceptance, too.
Right. Some fuels might be more readily adopted than others.
It's complex. And don't forget to mention ongoing research and development.
Oh, right, because things are always changing.
The field's constantly evolving, so you've got to be adaptable and innovative.
Always learning and growing.
Exactly. Okay, before we move on, let's talk a little about company culture.
Finding the right fit, that's important.
It is. A company's culture can really impact how happy you are at work.
So what should we look for, especially in alternative fuels?
Think about their values.
Like, do they truly care about sustainability?
Yeah. Do they invest in R&D?
Do they want to make a positive impact?
Those are all good signs.
And what about the work environment?
Is it collaborative? Supportive? Do they encourage innovation?
Do they value diversity?
These are all important questions. You want to feel valued and empowered.
And it's okay to ask about this in the interview, Ray.
Of course. It's a two-way street.
I'm interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing me.
Exactly. The best companies are looking for passionate people who share their vision.
All right. I'm feeling inspired and ready for those interviews.
Great. Remember, showcasing your passion and enthusiasm is key.
This field is about more than just technical skills. It's about making a difference.
That's what makes it so exciting.
So let that passion shine through in your answers. Talk about what excites you.
The challenges, the impact you want to make.
Show them it's more than just a job, it's a mission.
Exactly. That passion is what makes great engineers and great teams.
Got it. Any other tips for really acing the interview?
Let's not forget about body language.
Oh, right. Even if it's a remote interview.
Even then, your posture, eye contact, it all matters.
So I should sit up straight, smile, even if I'm in my pajamas.
Haha, exactly. Show them you're engaged and present.
What about those nervous jitters? Any advice?
Practice, practice, practice. The more you prep, the more confident you'll feel.
And don't forget to breathe.
Right. Take a few deep breaths before you start.
Good reminder.
And remember, they want you to succeed. They're looking for someone like you.
So go in there with a positive attitude.
Exactly. Let your personality shine through, and don't forget to ask questions at the end.
Shows I'm curious and thinking ahead.
It does.
Okay, I'm feeling pumped and ready to tackle those interviews. But before we wrap up, let's give RoleCatcher AI one more shout out.
It's such a game changer for the job search.
From the resume to the practice, it's like having a coach right there with you.
And it's always learning and improving, just like this field.
So we've covered so much, from the technical stuff to career advice and the power of AI, but we're not done yet.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll talk about the bigger impact of alternative fuels engineering and how you can use your skills to contribute to a more sustainable future.
So stay tuned for more insights and inspiration. Welcome back, everyone. It's the final part of our deep dive into alternative fuels engineering interviews.
We've covered a ton, from the nitty-gritty tech to career paths and AI.
Now it's all about tying it together.
And sending you off ready to rock those interviews.
We've talked about how to answer those tough questions, but what really makes a candidate stand out?
It's not just knowing the tech or the rules.
It's got to be something more.
It's that passion, that vision, that drive to make a real difference.
To create a better future, right?
Exactly. That's what inspires interviewers.
It's what makes them see you as, like, a perfect fit for their team.
Not just someone who can do the job, but someone who believes in it.
So how do we show that passion without sounding, cheesy?
Keep it real.
Okay.
Think about what got you into this field.
Was it concern for the environment? A love of technology?
Could be. Or maybe it's that challenge of solving these complex problems.
For me, it was kind of all of those things.
I bet.
I've always been fascinated by the idea of using nature to create energy,
Yeah.
And the engineering involved in making alternative fuels work. That's exciting.
You see, you're already explaining it in a way that's personal, genuine.
It's real. It's me.
And it connects to the field. So when you're answering those questions, try to weave in your own story, your motivations.
And link it back to the company's goals, right?
Exactly. So if they ask about your experience designing fuel production processes, you could say something like, I'm really passionate about creating sustainable methods that minimize environmental impact.
Okay, yeah.
In my last role, I focused on optimizing biodiesel production to reduce waste and make it more efficient.
Perfect. You're not just listing skills, you're showing them what drives you.
And remember, your passion comes across in your energy too, not just your words.
So even if I'm nervous, gotta let that excitement show.
Definitely. Smile, make eye contact, let them see how much you care about clean energy.
Enthusiasm is contagious, right?
Totally. Okay, ready for some key takeaways to really make you shine?
Rewind.
First, show them you're all about sustainability.
Okay.
Talk about life cycle analysis, how you'd evaluate the environmental impact of different fuels.
From start to finish.
Exactly. It's not just about emissions, it's about the whole picture.
And sustainability isn't just about the environment.
Right. There's the economic and social side, too.
So we should mention how alternative fuels can create jobs.
Absolutely. Help local economies, reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, paint that bigger picture.
Got it. What's the next takeaway?
Be a problem-solving pro.
Love that.
Highlight those analytical skills, how you think through things.
Give them examples of challenges I've overcome.
And walk them through your process, what you learned along the way.
It's not about always having the right answer. It's about how you approach the problem.
Exactly. And even if things didn't go perfectly, explain what you do differently next time.
Turn those so-called failures into learning moments.
That's the mark of a great engineer. And last but not least,
don't forget RoleCatcher AI.
Your secret weapon for this whole job search. Tailor your resume. Practice those answers. Get that feedback. It's amazing.
Like having a personalized guide every step of the way.
And it's constantly learning, just like we are, just like this whole field.
So there you have it.
You've got the knowledge, the strategies, the tools to ace those interviews.
Now go out there and make that cleaner future a reality.
The future of energy is in your hands.
And with the right prep, a ton of enthusiasm, and a little AI magic, you've got this.
You've got this.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
We'll see you next time.
For another exciting exploration of the world's most innovative fields.